Hi, everybody. This is the week 31 lesson. This week we are discussing climate change. Specifically, what causes climate change? We've all heard the term climate change or global warming used, but what does it really mean? Let's all get on the same page here. Let's talk about what climate change is and the evidence that supports it, and what causes climate change in the first place. Climate change is something that affects everybody in the world. Almost 8 billion people on this planet, and we all are impacted in some form by climate change. With that being said, there is not a 100% consensus on climate change, how much it's impacting the earth, or if it's impacting the earth at all. So, I am going to give you some information. I want you to evaluate the facts, and I want you to decide what your opinion is or what your perspective is. I'm not going to tell you a right or wrong answer. It's going to be up to you to decide that based on the information that I give you and your own research. This is one of my favorite topics. Some of you that have been in the class since day one for the entire year will remember we did spend a few days at the beginning of the year talking about this to practice our academic language. This is one of my favorite topics, so I can't wait to discuss it with you all, and I can't wait to see your assignments. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I'm getting a lot of feedback from you that's saying that the shorter lessons are great, so let's talk about what you're going to be studying this week. You need to know what the greenhouse effect is in order to understand what climate change is. The greenhouse effect is a buildup of greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases include methane, carbon dioxide. There are a few more other ones, but essentially what they are gases that are really good at trapping heat in our atmosphere. We get greenhouse gases in our atmosphere naturally, but human activity, mainly burning fossil fuels to create energy or to run a car, deforestation, and unsustainable agriculture are putting high amounts of these gases in our atmosphere. The more gas in the atmosphere, greenhouse gas, the more heat we trap, and that excess heat then causes a bunch of other effects that affect our planet, which is what we call climate change. Where are these greenhouse gases coming from? Well, I told you what activities cause them, but this graph shows us which countries are producing greenhouse gases, specifically CO2, which is the most notorious greenhouse gas. As you can see, the United States is up there as one of the largest producers, along with countries from the European Union, China, you can see Russia, some other developed countries, and the rest of the world. So this is a major concern to us, or very important to us, because in the United States, we are one of the largest producers of the gas that scientists believe caused climate change in the first place. I'm going to leave the rest of the research up to you. I don't want to tell you anything. I want you to evaluate information and form your own opinions. So this is what your assignment is going to look like. You're going to see 3 steps in red. You all know that red means required. First step, watch these 2 videos. There is one where Bill Nye is going to introduce what climate change is and some ways that humans can affect climate change or advocate for the planet. The second video is going to be some review from the first video, but also it's going to emphasize what governments can and are doing about it in the world currently. Second step, this article, which I'm going to talk about again in 1 second, from NASA explains what causes climate change. That is the important thing in this week. We all have some understanding of what climate change is. I want to get on the same page, make sure everybody's got a concrete understanding of what exactly it is we're talking about and what causes it to happen. Then there are 5 questions in the red box. I would like you to put 2 to 3 sentences for each response. Put it in your own words. Do not copy and paste from the article. Although sometimes what you're saying is very similar to what's in the article, synthesizing the words in that sentence, that requires you to actually think about what you're saying, process that information, and that's going to help you to better remember or retain that information. So that's why I want you to put it in your own words. Do not copy and paste it, please. Last thing on your assignment is an extra credit section. I want you to just give me a brief 3 to 5 sentences writing on your takeaways, some important points that you would share with others in a conversation, maybe some of the more interesting parts that you've learned about, or some recommended article or video that you can explain why you're recommending it and it's related to climate change. So that is extra credit. You know it's extra credit because it's in a box outlined in blue. That is your assignment. The website you're going to be using for your assignment. This is what the top looks like. When you click on that link for step 2, it's going to take you right here to the facts page and causes of climate change. There are about 10 other links here. The evidence, the effects, some vital signs, resources. We're going to talk about this one next week, the solutions. How can we mitigate climate change? But I want you to explore here. It's not required, but I think that you can have a lot of fun with this website, as I did. So feel free to explore during step 2. You're going to be learning at the same time, and you're not even going to realize it because you're having so much fun. If you would prefer to participate in our discussion thread for week 31 instead of submitting a reflection, I'm going to give you a grade for your reflection. In other words, if you don't want to do the reflection, but you still want the grade, participate in our discussion thread. This is our question this week. Is climate change real or is it a hoax? 97% of scientists believe that climate change is a real thing, with almost all of those scientists agreeing that it's caused by human activity. However, there are some influential leaders, such as the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who have gone on record saying they don't believe in climate change and that climate change is a hoax. A hoax is something that is made up or not real. So after watching the videos that I provide you with, reading the article, or doing your own research, I want you to weigh in with what do you think? So I've got a graph here which shows trends in temperature over the past 140 years. It's got trends in carbon dioxide concentration as well. And on the other side here, I've got some quotes from Donald Trump's Twitter where he is saying those things that I just read previously. Take a look here in the middle. Remember, when you are participating in a discussion thread, students are expected to be respectful. We practiced this all throughout the year. Whether you are agreeing or disagreeing with somebody, you are going to be respectful towards them. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I want you to be respectful. And if you choose to try and persuade somebody to see things from your point of view, you need to be respectful with that. Otherwise, people are not going to listen to you. Please use academic language and full sentences so that everybody can clearly understand the point you're making. And I'm encouraging you all to comment on each other's point of views as well. Share your opinion. Remember, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, okay? Be respectful of that. So once again, if you would rather participate in the discussion thread, you do not need to do the reflection. I will give you a grade for doing the discussion or the reflection. Do one of those two things along with your assignment this week. Okay, so I got some feedback about your due dates that some of you need a little more time to complete your assignments. The due date for assignments is Friday at 3:30 p.m. That's because I take attendance between 2 and 3:30 p.m. on Fridays, and that attendance is based on you turning in your assignment, you emailing me, or you participating in a discussion thread. As long as you do one of those things throughout the week, I'm going to mark you present. Because there's that 3:30 deadline does not mean that you cannot hand it in after 3:30 on Friday. There is no penalty for submitting your work late. The most important thing for me is that you are getting the work done and that you are deepening your understanding of these concepts and that you are getting something from this class. However, if you are missing deadlines, that tells you you are falling behind in the class. If you fall behind in the class, it becomes very difficult to catch up, as some of you know. So try and stay up with the due dates. If you miss one, just send me an email. Hey, I've got this thing going on in my life and I'm going to miss the due date. Just letting you know. That's totally fine. No penalty. Just keep me in the loop so I can mark that you were present that week and that you were engaged in our online class. Although your generation is not responsible for causing climate change in the first place, it is your responsibility to evaluate the facts that are out there. There's a lot of different opinions out there, a lot of things said in the media. It's up to you to evaluate that and decide if and how you are going to act in response to climate change. Hey, reach out to me with questions. The feedback you're giving me is great. I really appreciate the thoughtful responses. Keep that up. It makes the class better for everybody that participates. All right. Hey, again, I miss you all. I hope you're doing well and staying healthy. Hope that you're not getting too bored during these quarantines and you're getting outside and enjoying yourself. But anyway, stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll talk to you this week and next week. Bye, everybody.